Do Cuzzo's welcome to the Trap House. I'm going to spill some tea on this weekend's new moon in Sagittarius. This new moon can be affecting you, whether it be on November 30th or December 1st, depending upon your location on the planet. If you are here in the Western Hemisphere with me in the Texas region, it's occurring at 12 a.m. So while we are sleeping, our life will be expanding. It's occurring at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the ninth degree. Sagittarius is the ninth house. Ninth house is ruled by Jupiter. Sorry for all that background noise. Ninth house is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the sky. Anything it touches, it expands. The sun is in Sagittarius. Mercury is in Sagittarius. The moon will be in Sagittarius. Um, Living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, golden is the energy that I am seeing. It's like that meme of the little boy from Peter Pan where the gold is raining down on him. That is quite literally what it is going to feel like. Sagittarius is the adventure, the spontaneity, the learning, the asking a question, but why? Why did it have to happen? Why did you say that? This is going to be like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and it may not be tangible. You may not be taking home a bag of money, especially with it being Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Your money may be quite the opposite of that, a little slow. Your Christmas gifts may be wrapped up in customs, things that may have slowed down, but you still will be on the brighter side of things and seeing things with a brighter awareness. The download I got when I was putting my notes together was that image from the Brady Bunch where the kids are performing the first Brady Bunch movie. I may be aging myself with this, but the first Brady Bunch movie where the kids are performing for a showcase, a talent showcase to save their house, and they're all dressed in like the colors of the rainbow, and they're like, "We got to keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on dancing all through the night." That's the download that I got. So new beginnings everywhere, and they did end up being able to save their house because they won the showcase, and not without obstacles. There were people who were trying to stop them from even getting to the house with the paycheck to save it, but they still prevailed. That's some Sagittarius energy. No matter what the obstacle is, the Sagittarian fire, passion, adventurer, archer is going to make sure that they prevail. Sagittarius, new moon, Mercury, Sagittarius, Sun, Sagittarius, ninth degree, Sagittarian energy um, is asking us not to be boring anymore. Go look at where Sagittarius is affecting you at 9 degrees in your chart. You can also just look at your Sagittarius placement. I would encourage you to look at your Sagittarius placement and your ninth house because both of them can stand to be receiving an upgrade at this point. But Sagittarius is asking us not to be boring or average. Tap into your dopeness. Tap into your hotness. I bees the block. Mars will go retrograde in Leo about 6 days later. And all of this fire energy in the sky is very much so spit your game, talk your shit. You know what you're talking about. You know why you are so adamant about it. 333 on the timer. You didn't just pull this out of the sky. You've been going on a spiritual pilgrimage, which is the name of this recording, quite literally since May, when you were going through a spiritual ascension, spiritual commencement ceremony. Wherever Sagittarius is present, there is an activation of understanding or consciousness that is happening. So you are upgrading. You are graduating in some shape, way, or form when Sagittarius is present. Because Jupiter is modern ruler of Sagittarius, but Jupiter is ancient ruler of Pisces. Pisces is also receiving an upgrade in their spiritual gifts, in their psychic gifts, in their empathic awareness when Jupiter is the star of the stage. But with all of that fiery energy, we are being asked to spit our game. Real talk. True story. No nuts, no glory. At this point, it's not about being cocky. 444 on the timer. Come on, spirit. It's not about being cocky. It's about matter of fact. I know what I know. I know whose I am, and I know who I am. Therefore, I will know my worth and add tax. talked about on the Mercury retrograde recording that I posted a couple of days ago how Sagittarius' ruler is retrograde in Gemini right now. Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini. And Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. So the sister signs are doing an opposite dance with one another. And where it is chaotic and a little bit daunting, they are providing pillars of support for us. But what we have to be careful about during this time, because both of these signs are expansiveness, communicativeness, and they're both retrograde. So at this point, it's going to be kind of all or nothing with the information that we're receiving. So my advice is turn off the TV, put down the phone, avoid informational overload. 555 on the timer. I'm not doing this on purpose. This is crazy. Avoid the informational overload. I see Kendrick just released the album. I talked about that a couple of days ago on the Mercury retrograde recording too. And y'all, it still ain't been enough days. I can't get absorbed into it for maybe 3 more days. I'm going to wait until after the holiday, and then I'm going to dive into that and start decoding. So if you guys want to know about some decoding, subscribe to Patreon, because that's where it's all at. I have 2 ebooks. They're called the Hood Matria Volume 1 and 2. They break down gematria codes, the understanding, what it is, how you can see it, how every celebrity in the game has done a ritual or a commencement to Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. How we're all under the same kind of programming, unless you are your own Oz, unless you've gotten out of the game and been able to be your own Oz. But anyway, avoid the informational overload that's attempting to come through right now. Everything is changing. Pluto is settling into Aquarius. This is a very slow transit. Saturn is still in Pisces. I just told you, whenever Jupiter's doing a dance, Pisces also getting tugged on. So whatever area of your life has that Saturn dance, it's also being kind of pushed up against the wall. But then I'm hearing Michael Jackson, off the wall. Get off the wall. Get your dream off the wall. Be inspired. Don't get stuck in the systematic programming. Forgive yourself for not knowing better and doing better before this point. But know now you can start and have a different life. In true Sagittarius form, you want to use this as your time to go on a spiritual pilgrimage, like I entitled this recording. Go back to the things that illuminate your consciousness, your soul, your vibration. I've been talking about for years, and now it's here, that where we are headed, it is an energy thing. When you get to certain dimensions, you are no longer speaking words. It's all energy. Sometimes it's not energy, it's color. Sometimes it's not a color, it's a vibration. Either way, you need to learn how to maneuver through the dimension in order to get through the dimension, or you will get shut out at the dimension's doors and be not stuck, because we won't stay stuck, but you will have to remain where you are able to communicate. So with that being said, and the Sagittarius new moon and all of this Sagittarius energy present in the air, now more than ever, you need to be going internal to retrieve your own keys to your own doors, not the collective doors. Now more than ever, you need to slow down and be cognizant of what are you taking in? How much of it are you taking in? And is it conducive to your overall prosperity, or does it make you doubt yourself? Because even though we are going into the informational technology age, keep in mind that humans are the highest technology. We are the technology. That's why you think a thought and your phone pops it up on your phone. You are the technology. You think the thought. You didn't even say it out loud yet. And it pops up on your phone because you are the technology. So be very in tune with that. The CIA has documents that you can go and read that talk about how law of attraction is real, and what we think about we get, and a high focus and energy is where it is at. So be sure that what you are focusing heavily upon is something that you want to live and have repeated in your life. With Saturn in Pisces and it being the ancient ruler, Jupiter being the ancient ruler of Pisces, this is the arena of building something that will last. Forward tough. 2025 is going to be a year 9. I have a year 9 gazette, if you will. It's available for free on Patreon. So all you have to do is click the link in my bio. It'll take you to Patreon and it'll take you to the free posts. There are a few of them. So you can kind of scope around before you join the tribe. But year 9 is equally ruled by Scorpio and Aries because it's a Mars Pluto energy. And ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars. Modern ruler of Aries is Mars. It's the alchemical fire and iron that cannot be touched, that will not be broken apart, that no matter what they tried to trick us into believing during those attacks back in that day, on that day, still cannot be burned. So what we are building now will not perish. And that's what you want to hear as we're going into the next segment of our life, the next 20 years of our life, especially like my elder millennial babies. And I guess we're not babies no more. I had an older woman tell me yesterday, I'm not a baby. She said, what, you almost 40? Y'all are not babies. Don't do that to us. Don't do that. We didn't even ask. We did not ask for that opinion. I did not ask for you to say that to me. But as we are building the next segue of our life, and I guess this is really, prominent for millennial generation because of how much we've lived through, survived through. So now this is like, oh wait, there's no way that you're telling me it's going to be easier than it has been, because it hasn't been. It just hasn't been easy. But it is going that way. And what you are choosing to focus on, put your energy into, your unique craft, is where you're going to see the greatest abundance. Currencies are getting ready to be more unorthodox. I've been talking about that for years. We've been seeing, the, what is it called? Bitcoin and Dogecoin and all of that. I don't know. I'm a firm believer that, what is it called? It's cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. I'm a decoder. So what is a crypt? It's something that holds dead bodies. What is a current? A body of water that flows. All things associated with money are banks. That was 1222 on the time. I mean, the word bank itself. A bank, a river bank, currency. If you take too much money out of your account, it is overdrafted. Drafted, like a draft, overdraft. I think of like wind. Everything associated with it. Everything associated with banks is connected to money. So when I think of cryptocurrency, I think of where money goes to die. Money is going to die in the crypt. The currency is dying in the crypt because money is meant to flow in and out. And if it is in a crypt, it cannot do that. And so then also, if your money is in a crypt, if it's cryptocurrency, if everything that we have financially is somewhere we cannot see it, then that's where manipulation can happen because you don't know what you're looking at. Somebody had made a really good point a couple of years ago about when is the last time that you had a paper check. Most people have direct deposit, and it's been a long time since you've actually seen the hours that you worked, the money, how much they paid you, how much they took out. And then some jobs make it so difficult for you to go and find it. Like for you to go print off a document that has your actual paycheck that says, what you made, and is for whatever verification that you need. So currency is going to continue to get unorthodox. I also believe that it's going to go backwards. Like we're going to get more into like bartering, exchanging. That's that Pluto Aquarius energy where we're all a community living on the same land, and I may not have the money to pay you, but I make bread. So let's exchange this bread for some of your meat or for some of your corn, and let's keep the party going. Self-mastery is an underfunction of this new moon. Connecting with who you are now is so important. Who you are now, who you are after eclipse season of this year, because I know that it did a number on all of us. Who you are now after Pluto retrograde, after Saturn retrograde, after Pluto has finally made its transit into Aquarius. Who are you now? It's all coming back to me. Because making space for that version of yourself is the most important space to be creating at this point. And it can be a little intimidating. I read something a couple of days ago that said your mind will choose to journey back into toxic comfort than to go into unknown pleasure simply because it's comfortable. You know what that's like. So make space for the new things, not the things you're no longer committed to or that used to dim your light. Some December astrology. December's going to be, I feel like this is the perfect finale to this year. It was a 2024 year, an 8 year, a Saturn year. We started the year with a new moon in Capricorn. We will end the year with a new moon in Capricorn. We had 2 full moons in Capricorn, June and July, 30 days away from each other. Saturn, made its full first year transit in Saturn and Pisces. I think it was just a very re-foundational year. May have shook you to the core, may have made you question yourself. But even after all of the questioning and trying to figure out, who am I? What is this? What have I, subscribed to? What have I sustained? What have I tolerated? You still were able to forgive yourself and then pick yourself back up from your highest consciousness, your Christ consciousness, also that Saturnian energy, to get back to your light, to the best version of yourself, to a new version of yourself that you have even yet to meet. So December 6th, we'll have Mars retrograde in Leo. Pick your passion back up. If you were in love with it at one time, pick it back up. If you've been in love with something and not been able to stop thinking about it, and I don't mean a person, y'all. I mean a thing, a passion. Pick it back up. Mars will be retrograde through February of 2025. Then December 7th, we have Venus Aquarius. Link up with your friends. Pluto will be supporting these new quirky connections. So, maybe you want to have an online gathering, or maybe you want to get together with some people in the park and exchange Barbie Uno cards. I don't know. Whatever it is, it will be supported because the newness is here. December 15th, we'll have a Gemini full moon. Basically, unforgettable. Well, really, it's untouchable. But we'll have a whole another video on that. Then December 24th, we will have Jupiter square Saturn. Think back to August. Conflicts, things that may have dissipated, things that may have fallen apart, but then also the confirmations that came right on the heels of that kind of provided a bookend to the things that needed to have come to completion. So check your chart for all these transits, honestly. How are the Sagittarius new moon affecting you? How is the Sagittarius Mercury retrograde affecting you? How will Mars retrograde Leo be affecting you? Where will Venus be transiting your chart? Because now it's being joined by Pluto, or Pluto is joined by Venus there. Jupiter is in Gemini in retrograde. Where is that in your chart? How is that affecting you? Big things are happening. Big things popping. Today only, and today is November 26th. So by the time you hear this, hopefully it will still be November 26th. I'm offering one card $15 readings. So you can either cash at me, so you can send me a DM, or you can comment under this message or under this recording if it's on YouTube or wherever you hear this, and we can connect. I can't publicly share my Cash App. I feel like every time I do that, something happens and I get hacked. It's horrible. I can send you an invoice, or you can take advantage of the Blaque Friday sales that I have on my Etsy site, where you can get a New Year forecast, which will cover from December of this year to December of next year. All of the transits, all of the ingresses, the new moons, the full moons, all of that, how it will personally affect you. You can get a solar return reading, which will cover your personal transits for your birthday for this year, your perfection house year. Or you can take it a step further and get a trapstrology report, which we will dissect your birth chart placement by placement and how you can navigate through this game called life, and then we can go from there. So whatever you do, I encourage you to empower yourself this year. And I say this year, I mean like 2024, the end of it going into next year, the full year. Empower yourself. learn on your own, or learn and equip yourself through other types of mastery. What we are going to continue to see as life goes on is that a lot of our school systems are flawed. A lot of our professors are flawed. Just because a person has a degree does not mean that they know more than you. They just studied more in that arena, and that arena could have been telling them a lie. Preachers and pastors falling and crumbling because they are theologians, but the theology school that they went to lied to them. So all they could do was regurgitate lies back to their congregation. Or better yet, some of them went and learned truth in these theologian schools and still chose to tell the lie. So you got to be dealt with. Because if you are a preacher, a pastor, a teacher, someone with a voice, an oracle, you are supposed to speak truth. You are supposed to help be the predecessor of change. And if you choose to ride the coattails of bullshit simply because it's just easy and you can maybe get some money in your pocket, well, you have to deal with that too. I'm going to pull some cards. I typically don't do this for the public, but I'm going to do that for the public because we are on Sagittarius energy right now. Sagittarius new moon is one of my favorite manifestation moons of the year. Sagittarius new moon, Taurus new moon. Top tier energies. Get into it, okay? Walking away is the first energy that comes out. Don't walk away, girl. And the girl's looking back like she don't want to walk away. She doesn't know yet just where she needs to go, or maybe she knows exactly where she needs to go. But it's the kind of bittersweet of, I know in order to head where I'm going, I will completely have to shut the door on this piece of my life, or at least shrink it down to a locket pocket size so it doesn't weigh me down. Archangel Raphael is the next energy with that heart chakra though. So you want to be using your head and your heart on this navigational system, but you do not want to allow your heart to be so heavy, so worried, so doubtful, so afraid, so filled with resentment or bittersweet, like any of that, that you cannot rise to the next height of what is being expected for you. Archangel Michael is the next energy that comes out. And if you are having any issues detaching from old patterns or old people or old placements, I highly encourage you to ask Archangel Michael to assist you in cutting those cords. What I love most about the archangels is you don't have to ritualize or deify them. They don't ask for anything except for your call. They don't ask for anything except for your request. So ask for Archangel Raphael to help you find the confidence to forgive not only other people, but to forgive yourself. And then also ask Archangel Michael to be your protector, to be your reviver, to be a warrior for you, and also to be a bridge to the next portion of your new beginning, which is these caring connections. Because again, with Pluto and Aquarius, we've been talking about for years at this point that relationships will dissipate, friendships will fall away, organizations will not be what they are, communities will have new foundations. And that could be a little emotionally daunting and maybe even depressing. But then you realize that they only fell away because they were mirrored or connected to an outdated version of yourself. And now that you have the confidence and the awareness of who you are and what you deserve, vibration is upgraded. So, caring connections and new opportunities and people loving you for who you are, not what you can do for them. The beautiful thing about meeting new people or having to start all over again is you don't have to keep telling that old narrative of what you used to be. My favorite thing that I didn't have to do anymore when I got divorced years ago, 6 years ago, was I didn't have to pretend like I like sports anymore. I pretended like I like sports. And I'm sure that made him feel like, well, I don't like sports no more. I never liked it. I was doing it for shits and giggles. That's the dope thing about starting all over again. The next energy is door to value. When you realize who you are, you're not going to try to play a game no more. You're not going to try to be something that you're not anymore because you realize that you're actually closing yourself off from the facets of life that are divinely crafted for you. Trying to be like, look like, move like, act like, talk like everybody else, on this planet is going to have you missing a blessing that was directly prepared for you. Directly prepared for you. See what tarot energies come out. Thank you, Spirit. Continue to give me the correct words, energies, affirmations. Nine of Pentacles. I told you what nine. I told y'all the Sagittarius energy is so popping. It's so potent. It's so tangible. Like you can't reach out and touch a zodiac sign. This energy of the Sagittarius potency is so tangible. You can almost reach out and touch it. And maybe some of us will be able to reach out and actually touch a manifestation because it is a new moon. And new moons are miraculous. And new moons do bring new beginnings and opportunities and things that you've been working on. So when they are met by bridges of opportunity and supported by pillars of the strong points of the astrological forefronts, then we can only expect for there to be a cornucopia of abundance that unfolds for us. So this Nine of Pentacles, this girl is standing in the middle of a field, pentacles growing all around her. She's already holding some of what she's already grown. She has the carrots in her hand. There's a bird on top of her head. That's almost giving like Disney princess vibes. And what I love about Disney princesses is we all glorify the fact that they're a princess and that, oh, their life is beautiful and they live in castles and they're married to great men. But let's not forget that 90% or no, 100% of Disney princesses had to struggle, had to hustle, had to suffer, go through something really dark and bad, lose something, plant their own seeds in their own soil to become something greater and to eat from that tree only after despair and despair and demise. I think I was trying to say dismay. Mercury retrograde, words getting tied up. Slow down. So Nine of Pentacles, the cream of the crop. It may not have been easy for you to get here, and that is what the proclamation for the Sagittarius new moon is. This spiritual pilgrimage. When I think of the spiritual pilgrimage, I think of Malcolm X. I think of him going to Mecca. I think before he went to Mecca and how he was, really one lane narrative. The black man and woman are God and goddess, and that is it. And everyone else is our enemy. Only for him to get to Mecca and see a Muslim of every shade on the planet, and it completely changed his mentality. Even before he went to Mecca, he had began to separate from the Nation of Islam because he was starting to have his own pilgrimage. He was starting to understand what the spirituality was meaning to him, what his relationship to God was meaning to him, and it had nothing now to do with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the Nation of Islam or any of that shit, or black nationalists or the government. It had everything to do with who he was and what he was here for. So then he made that decision to go on his spiritual pilgrimage to Mecca, and when he got there, he came back a changed man. He was a complete different person. I believe he went to his pilgrimage as Malcolm X, and when he came back is when he was Malik El Hijab, I think Hijab's Shabazz. So he changed the complete face of who he was and the energy of who he was because he went on his spiritual pilgrimage, and then was not afraid to come back and share that knowledge, was not afraid to come back and say, hey, y'all, there's a different world out there. There's a different way to be. There's a different way to see. There's a different way to think. That's that Nine of Pentacles. It wasn't easy for you to go on your pilgrimage. It wasn't even easy for you to get to your pilgrimage. It wasn't easy for you to attain the knowledge or the wealth or the currency to go on your pilgrimage, but you did. And now you're coming back a complete different person with a complete different mentality, and not only a wealth of knowledge to stand on, but a physical wealth that you can now maybe barter with. And it's not up to you to explain to everybody what it did to you or how it changed you. They can see that on you. It's up to you to relish in that, to reflect on that, to not forget what you went through, how you have changed, not to shrink yourself, to applaud yourself. Congratulations, you fucking made it. Never would have made it. Nobody knows what you had to go through this year. I said back in May, a lot of us are coming back to a different version of ourselves with God, a different relationship with this energy, this universe, this planet, this frequency. And now here it is. The Chariot. She's on her motorcycle in between two new moons. We'll say she's in between two new moon phases. So this new moon Sagittarius that we're going to have on December 1st and the last new moon of Capricorn that we're going to have on December 31st are the perfect blend of the duality of confidence, awareness, humility, willingness, necessity, luxury, spontaneity. It's the complete balance of all of those. She's holding a wand in her hand. Sagittarius is the alchemist. Sagittarius is the metaphysician. Jupiter is where the alchemy begins. Saturn is where it ends. What you attain on Venus and Jupiter without first solidifying with Saturn, you will lose rapidly. But your word is your wand. Your word is your pen, like Florence Shovell Shin says. What you are speaking about yourself is what is becoming, is what is being written. What you are thinking about yourself is what is being written. What you are heavily focusing upon, like I talked about earlier in this reading, is what is being written. So now what are you going to use your wand? Did you know that your wand is also your index finger? If you don't have a physical wand, you can use your index finger. What are you writing? Physically, energetically, spiritually, now that you are on this journey. You've been cut free. You did the necessary work to cut yourself free, but now where are you headed? What do you want it to look like? The one thing about Sagittarius that has to be documented, but then also needs to be harnessed, is they have great ideas, big ideas, multiple ideas. Sometimes not knowing where to start, where one idea ends, the other one begins, or how to lay down the necessary pattern of the road to attain the ideal outcome. So you set yourself free. You're beginning to see that you're being supported, and you will always be supported by the energies at B in your life. But now where are you headed? You got to make some decisions. Wheel of Fortune. You got to make some decisions. Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo. And Pluto is affecting all of the fixed signs for the next 20 years. What has to slough away? What has to fall off? What has to become a thing of the past? The wheel is always moving in your favor. But what are you going to do with the next time you're up? Because you can't be foolish. The page is that newness, that this is my first time here. But this isn't your first time here. You've done this before. So maybe you're the senior in the class, the upperclassman on the pilgrimage. And you know not to walk too close to the water, not to touch that fire, not to turn away when you add to new heights. And we're still very much so in the season of your greatness blinding other people. So don't be shocked by that. Don't be surprised by that. Don't slow down because of that. Seven of Swords. Woo! Come on, Spirit. Thank you. What I just say, we're very much so in that season of people being mad. Because we're very much so in the season of the dimensional split. See, up until now, people may have thought it was a game and they were joking. 3, 4, 5 on a timer. They thought people were joking. They thought the spiritualists were joking. They thought the astrologers were joking. They thought the metaphysicians were playing a game. when we said that when this timeline split gets here, when this new world gets here, when this new earth gets here, you gonna want to be on the right side of the shit. You gonna want to be on the empowered side of it, as opposed to the, and a lot of people faked, phonied, frauded, pretended that they were on that side. There are still people who are doing that, y'all. There are still many leaders in position of power who are misusing their power, who are misleading the masses, that soon and very soon will crumble. Soon and very soon. So there are people who are in your life who both of y'all may have started in that same soil of, yes, we're going to grow and heal and shed and evolve and become more of the earth, less like the world. But only one of y'all actually did it. Only one of y'all actually committed. And so now only one of y'all is actually on the other side of the energetic being. I heavily talk about not being affected by the outer world because I have worked diligently for my entire adulthood, and we'll just say for sure the last decade, to make sure that I'm not affected by the outside world. And that goes to, some people say your head is in the clouds. Oh, you're not a realist. Oh, you're delusional. But delusion is what creates new worlds. Being weighed down by the reality instead of the possibility is going to mess you up every time. Think of the movie Interstellar. And we can't talk about that movie right now because it's just too long, but I freaking love it. If that dad hadn't been as boisterous in his thinking to spark that light in his daughter to have that boisterous thinking that she had, eventually she would have not been able to save the world, which in turn saved him lifetimes away. So don't be afraid of your life. Seven of Swords. There are people in your life who are still mad that you did this necessary work and that y'all are now on two different sides of the timeline. Y'all will have to talk through glass now. Y'all may talk to each other and still not be able to understand each other. Five of Swords. Damn it. The storm is over, but the end of the road is definitely here. There were things that were said, done, implemented in these friendships or relationships that can't be revisited, that can't be forgiven, that can't be redone. And if you do let him back into your life, then you might be a damn fool. Pull yourself together. Pull yourself together and head on the journey that you know you need to be on. Chariot. Chariot is Cancer of the deck. Mars was in Cancer from like September to late October. What did you learn? Now Mars is about to be retrograde in Leo until February. Then it's going back into Cancer until May. February until May. So what did you learn? And you're, again, being more supported by whatever hard lesson it was that you had to realize, oh, I got to pack up and go. I got to get the hell up out of here. I ain't got to go home, but I got to move away from this. And it could have been moving away from old programming and heartbreak. Here we go, Three of Swords. It could have been moving away from old programming and heartbreak from something that you picked up in your childhood. Because a lot of times we are healing from the things that were projected upon us in childhood that we did not know any better, so we could not do any better. But as soon as we realize that's not normal, we begin the reprogramming of what we know we deserve and what we desire. So, only broken hearted. Brandy, heal your wounds. All these swords coming out, the contracts have been rewritten. Like that video of the girl from the Maori tribe ripping up that document at the parliament. Is done. I no longer have to entertain it. I no longer have to support it. I got enough bras. I don't need your support. Cardi B. Queen of Wands is the final tarot message before we get into some messy Bessie cards. Unapologetically you. If you mad at me, blame it on God, is what I'm hearing. People might be mad. People might not be able to stomach the fact that what they sent to destroy you only illuminated you more. Being protected by your enemies is a thing. That's what the Psalms are all about. Let my enemies be a footstool. They try to play me. I'm about to exit their ass. So, Queen of Wands, that's definitely Sagittarius energy. Not being afraid of your fire, not being afraid of your uniqueness. This girl looks like she has vitiligo. The very thing that you are trying to hide away from the world is the same key to the door of your upgrade. Okay, bad habits flies out of the messy Bessie deck. No, bad karma. Bad karma. See, and the people who were trying to play with you end up playing themselves, is what it is. Bad karma. Now, they got an ass load of bad karma to unpack for the next decade, maybe even more. Some people will be gifted. Some people are going to be gifted lifelong sentences with, you will need a lifetime of remedies to heal, all because they try to play with you. Haunted comes out. Memories, flashbacks, trauma, side effects. Again, they try to play with you, and spirit's about to play with them. They started it, your spirits finished it, and now it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Tell me why you do it like that. They will have a lifelong payback and need a lifetime of remedies. What I say? Caught a case. Sexual infection, sexual disease, rash, etc. They tried to play with you, and now they got an ass load of bad karma. They will be haunted by their decisions. They tried to link up with a coven, 4222 on the timer. They tried to link up with a coven to work against you. Bow, it's reflecting back on them. They tried to convince other people not to like you. Now it's back on them. They tried to steal your person, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. Now they're dealing with something that they didn't want to have to deal with. They tried to destiny swipe with you. Now they're dealing with something they did not want to have to deal with. STDs, not always a sexual transmitted disease, a spiritually transmitted disease. Kissing ass. And now here they come trying to kiss your ass. Offering you flowers and half-ass gifts and apologies and half-ass conversations. Remember when? Trying to keep you connected to the past. A nostalgia ritual. Just like the government. If they can keep you reflecting on Blue's Clues, have Steve pop up every fucking 6 months, then you will not look towards the future. Rejecting them is the next energy. You're not being duped by the okie doke. You're able to see right through it. You're able to see right through it. Because the next energy is hustling, making it rain, focused on money, getting it. Their schemes, plots, and ploys are too little, too late. And the final energy that we have here is scarcity tactics. Because they're hoping that you're still going to forget who you are. They're hoping that you have not remembered who you are. Or that somebody maybe even sent some energy to throw you off of your beaten path again. Because they're like, oh shoot, the ritual didn't work. The ritual is wearing off. Now I'm walking in the shit that I try to do to them. They're still moving in scarcity tactics. But they will never have enough because they try to play with the wrong one. Final message is elevate. Hold yourself accountable. It's crazy because Kalani is on this card, and Kalani is about to be held accountable for some shit that she's been doing. We saw it in the in the headlines. But anyway, hold yourself accountable. Don't blame anybody else for your downfall, and don't blame anybody else for your upgrade. Move your body. Get up, stretch, dance. 4444 on the timer. We give gratitude. We give gratitude. Move your body. That's the most godly thing you can do. Unorthodox is the next energy. Stand out. Do not be afraid to stand out. That's what you were placed here for. Fitting in is lame. Let's see what the final energy is for the collective. Protect your energy. Bad vibes. And maybe you the bad vibes. Because if you talking down to yourself or talking negatively to yourself, maybe you the bad vibes. But if it is bad vibes around you, loose them demons. Move them away from you. My Black Friday sale does include my fiery wall of protection oil. I don't leave home without it. None of my clients have been using it for the last 6 years, leave home without it. So I encourage you to get in where you fit in. And I look forward to talking to y'all soon and very soon. Y'all have a good one. Holla back.